Hello, fellow heroes. I hope everyone is having good holidays recently. I've been sick, so if my voice is sounding kind of off, that's why. And it's also why my videos haven't been that consistent as well. But while I was sick, I watched Netflix Dragon Age Absolution. Is that it? Absolution? Yes. And the show, I'm gonna say right off the bat, it's not something that I would outwardly recommend, but it's not horrible. It's not something that I just want to sit here and complain about either, because I feel like what used to be the video game curse, whenever we'd make whenever adaptations would be made of video games, and video games, they're always bad, has already been broken by other things like the Castlevania that Netflix has put out, or even like Sonic the Hedgehog that's been doing really good and something that I enjoy and can't wait to see more of. But going into Dragon Age Absolution, I feel like this is kind of the things that you don't want to do. And when I'm speaking specifically to, because we are in the non-spoiler section right now, is catering maybe too much to fans. So much so that you're assuming that people watching this are only going to be the fans, and that the people watching it are gonna just by making name dropping or referencing a place, or maybe showing a silhouette of people that we know, is enough for us. And I don't think so. I think it's good. I like it, but those Easter eggs and those references are too heavy-handed, making it a lot harder for more casual viewers to watch, and even so, correlating and carrying over to going fans like myself and my wife. My wife being a huge Dragon Age fan, knowing way more about the lore, story, and put more hours into the games than me. She didn't want to finish the series. Now, I don't think the series is that bad to where it shouldn't be finished, but I do see why she got disconnected. The use of the plot is, I think, the main issue when it comes to. Hold on. Is this even capturing my voice? Okay, I got worried there for a second. There was a pop up. The plot is the main issue when it comes to everything else, because I think we have good characters. I think the characters go through a decent development, and they have to follow problems, or they're tasked with problems that they have to overcome later on. There's great foreshadowing that goes on between characters, but the use, I don't know if it's because it's only 6 episodes, or if it's because the use of the what's it called, the background, not the background, what's I lost my words, my sinuses are getting in of everything. The flashbacks. I don't know if it's because of the use of flashbacks, because what happens is a character will blah something trauma. They'll be like, I am experiencing trauma, and then it'll go to flashback to give us essentially exposition. So the flashback is used as exposition to better explain things, but you're supposed to get an emotional response every time there's a flashback that happens, but instead it's kind of just an exposition dump. And because there's only 6 episodes and the stories kind of roll out really fast, I do have to say, I think the pacing is fine. I think they pace the 6 episodes fine. I really do think it's I know in flashbacks are supposed to be kind of an exhibition use, but I feel like the execution of them here just didn't tag along, making the series kind of just feel, it's okay. But by the time you get to the end of it, there is more of a payoff. It just feels like, if I were to put this in perspective, the way I think a video game adaptation works is, if I changed everybody's name, if I took the title, if I got rid of Dragon Age, and I got rid of all the references they made and replaced them with something else that I wouldn't, as an audience member, understand, does it still work? It doesn't. And I think that's the problem, is that they're holding way too hard on the title, the brand, the esteem of Dragon Age, and it kind of falters it. So I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I won't go out of my way to recommend it to everyone, but I will say, if you enjoyed Castlevania that was made by Netflix, or even the other one that was a Dota, you'll probably find enjoyment out of this as well. I did. I want to see more of it, and I want to see it succeed more. Now, I'm gonna move into spoilers. So if you want to go see it and you don't want to get spoiled, then by all means, while you're heading out, if you want to sub, because it goes a long way. For us, if you guys are enjoying these videos, I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of the things. Did you absolutely love Dragon Age Absolution? You hate that I hated it? Well, let me know in the comment section. And if there's other things you guys want to hear about, just I'd love to see that kind of stuff. I love how this community's been growing. So thank you everyone who's been supporting me, and these videos have been growing, and I'm loving doing this. But spoilers, going into that, really, I want to talk about like the character progression. Like I really want to talk about the good things, because if we go off of the main character, which was Miriam, I think they did some really good kind of like poetic storytelling with her, where again they're using flashbacks to convey emotion, and her biggest thing is that she's a slave, and we're supposed to be upset that she's a slave, and then she has to kill her brother to protect herself. And they show this by her interacting with another elf that's a little girl that's a slave like she was, and she has this opportunity to save this elf, but instead she damns the elf. She doesn't help her, and she says the only people that are going to save us are ourselves, because she had to save herself from her demonified brother and her slave owner, who treated her like an object in a thing, right? And so that to me is, when we flash forward, flash forward, yeah, into like the climax of everything that's going on. She now has to kill her brother again, but it's to protect others. She's no longer doing it to protect herself. She's doing it to protect others. She has grown as a character, and she understands this. And then we immediately see her kind of redeem herself by saving the elf children, saving the other elf slaves, and then kind of saying what she said before, being like, we have to protect we win by saving each other, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. So to me, that's really good, and that's the more obvious one, right? That's the one where they really wanted you to show, and it's the main character. We're supposed to relate to her, feel to her the most, and but I really also enjoyed the antagonist side of it as well. The wizard, who was, I can't even remember what his name was. Was it Razarin? I think I'm wrong. Which the one that was with the chastity, the bad guy, the guy that controlled the dragon, the big evil dude, big bad evil guy. He kind of follows a similar. We see his journey as well. And it's brought with us with flashbacks, but it's kind of like fixed in with Miriam's flashbacks. But he doesn't learn his lessons. And because he's unable to learn, he's kind of like Kylo Ren. Because he's unable to learn, he's the only one that loses. To him, he was raised on this. To him, it was right. He thinks, I treated you correctly. I was soft. And because the way he sees it is because he was soft, because he treated them like family and not like slaves, that, all this crap is happening to him, and he needs to put his foot down, and he needs to finally show them that what he's doing is right, because he has the power to do right things, because in his head he's not doing anything wrong. And I love when a villain kind of has those complex justifications, and a lot of times they can be kind of generic and tropey and kind of stupid, but I feel like they work here. He didn't ever, when I first heard him talk, because a lot of times when they're talking, it's almost like watching the MCU. They're kind of just quipping and saying silly things and flirting with each other, and really the only time you learn about the story is through the flashbacks. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I think that's what really hurts it, is I want to see and feel the story from the characters instead of just the flashbacks, because I don't know. I want the flashbacks to be more chronological. I want it to tell a more cohesive story. But I'm getting off track. He I'm sorry, I have to cough. I told you I was sick. He himself goes through his own hero's journey, but it's more like a villain's journey. So he's taking an arc where he's finding justifications for himself, but instead of learning from his failures, instead of thinking, oh, I need to do something different, I need to be better, he's buckling down and just being like, no, they just don't understand. They need to learn. And that's where the difference comes in. Whereas Miriam is looking through the mirror, the main big bad evil guy is looking out the window. And they're showing the two different, types of people, and what can the outcome can be from those prospects. And I love that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I look for. I think they did a good job with the character progression in those two things. And I think that was really the best part of the show, and what kept me hooked on to the show and kept me going were those things. And obviously they're setting up for a sequel or a season 2. I'll watch it. One, because I gotta make a review over it, but two, because I am genuinely interested in it. If I were to rate this, I'd have to give it like I just feel like it fails at captivating people, and that the references that it makes aren't genuine. I don't really, they're just saying names of places, and we're not really learning or feeling these names of places or references that they're making. They did a good job with the magic, and they did, oh God, I can't believe I almost didn't talk about this, but they did a fantastic job with the choreography. The animation is so good. The action scenes are badass and just like really great to look at. You really look like, it really looks like you're watching a D&D show. And I mean, it does feel like Dragon Age with how over the top they go. And I said it from the very beginning. I told Caitlin, I was like, if they are not covered in blood in this show, it's a 1 out of 10. I don't care. And they made sure to give us that fan service. I got my blood splurting fan service. All right. And so there were some things that I was kind of picky about. Just if I'm gonna nitpick. All right, these aren't really critiques, but this is nitpicks. I feel like I enjoyed the Canary character, that mage where she's a Canary and she's quirky. I love that character type. I don't think a Canary would act that way. Matter of fact, Canaries don't even like. They don't like magic. Like, they are very, very touchy about magic. They're even more so than the humans and the magistry and stuff like that. So for me, it was so awkward to see a Canary act that way. She was so out of place. And I mean, I liked her character, but I was just like, is that, am I racist? I feel, I mean, I've streamed plenty of BioWare games on my channel. BioWare, their games are very racist, so that maybe they've rubbed off on me, but that's just nitpicks. That's me getting off topic. I don't know. This show's like a 6 out of 10, maybe like a 5.5. Not something that I say go rushing to the hills for, but definitely something, if you watch, you will get some enjoyment out of it. There is a plenty of things to like, just nothing that's made me fully fall in love with it just yet. Tell me your guys' thoughts, and until next time, play nice.